first idea.
Are we okay? First idea.
So the command terms is subjectivity overly celebrated is, so they can say yes or no, right? But it's very provocative in the sense overly and unfairly are two words which means it's provocative in the sense they are trying to yeah.
So
there
when
are
we
two
are trying to say
there
we
are
are celebrated, we just cannot say celebrated, we have to give an evidence
two
that
they are
overly
overly
celebrated.
celebrated.
When it was conduct, it is not just about being conduct,
But
it
it's
was
also
unfair.
unfair.
Only
Right.
these two.
They can also go against it. They can also go against it. They can also say it's only celebrated and not overly celebrated. There are two parts to this question. One is subjectivity overly celebrated in arts, and subjectivity unfairly condemned in history. That's the way. There are two ways of looking at this. So various arguments possible is yes, subjectivity is overly celebrated in arts. No, subjectivity is not overly celebrated. Again, yes, no for unfairly condemned in history.
No.
They can also say that it is overly celebrated and not, but
Uh-huh.
not unfairly condemned.
All possible combinations possible.
They can do any combination.
So basically, now they don't want exactly counter, but if you want it.
Yeah,
So that is also
that's
right.
perspective.
That is also right. Why is it overly celebrated? Multiple
Yeah.
points of view.
So they can
Why is it
just
over?
explore all these words and show examples and show the context, but not necessarily.
Not to counter it.
Not to counter.
Not to counter it. But what are the arguments? Why? The question of why is it celebrated? Overly celebrated. Why is it? Why? What are the reasons why is it overly celebrated?
Number one is of course for like uniqueness in arts and personal perspective. Is highly valued in your arts, and there's
The concept.
emphasis on subjectivity only because so they value uniqueness and they value something very personal.
Emotional responses as well, right?
So that's personal.
Yeah, so history does not account that much for an emotional perspective as the subjectivity that we acquired in art.
History is biased towards more being more.
I think there, the subjectivity in art doesn't have motives behind it. Motives means when I say it doesn't have like motives which are very much explicit, there might be like you have implicit bias. It can be bias on the form basis of
No, I would say otherwise your work of art is able to reach its high level of high quality only because of the like subjectivity. Because
I
of
think
the
if
artist's
there is
personal.
any painting and you are just analyzing the painting, so subjectivity that comes that is based on your emotional level and your understanding of that painting. But when it comes to the historical text or something, so generally subjectivity is there, which is very much
Bias.
intentional bias. which
Yeah.
is coming.
Yeah.
Maybe the
But
political
one-sided
the question
account.
would be, should we look at the word subjectivity only to the connotation of bias?
Yeah.
Subjectivity we should not.
No, subjectivity is not bias.
That's not the only way of looking at it.
History is negatively viewed only because it is a hindrance to the objective historical account.
No, my question is it even possible for us to have objective knowledge in history?
Yeah, to an extent,
Yeah.
of course it is possible. Obviously it's possible. If you look at the scientific method in which the history reports and those artifacts
But
are
it's
analyzed and all that,
it's very
it's not to say that there's no objectivity in arts and we don't have any subjectivity in history. But however, we are looking at the level.
Because that's the assumption. See, they say overly content in history, which means the indirect assumption is
We are saying
that,
that
It
it
is
is
this.
expected to be objective, but that
Yeah,
is missing.
Yeah, that's missing. It is inherently there. Objectivity in arts and subjectivity in history is of course implied.
no, I think
overly
it's
emphasized.
subjectivity in arts and objectivity in history.
Overly emphasized. When you
It's
say
expected to be there,
yeah.
but missing.
Overly means
No,
we
wait,
overlook that.
we turn what? Subjectivity. So subjectivity is in arts, right?
Yeah, that's what
it
it
is.
is.
History
and
and
also
It
subjectivity.
is expected that history should be objective, but however, it is not because it's not interpretation. And the moment it's interpretation, it's going to
So
become
I was thinking, I was just going through and I just thought of one point, I don't know whether I read it somewhere. For example, when we say art, since it's very personal and and that is why it's open to perspective and interpretation, and that is why more subjectivity is there. But see, when our students of visual arts, they do their own paintings, they are doing their own, it's a unique work. When they are graded, you cannot have subjectivity there because it's an objective assessment.
Now, that is the question. Who's that deciding that, and who's it celebrating? That is also a
I
question.
think it's not celebrated, that's one point I think.
Who's celebrating it and who's condemning it is
Who's
also
the
our
dominant?
debate. And in this case, I think if I'm right, celebration and condemnation should be done by an expert, so that it is considered to be worth it. So
In
celebration.
this particular case, to clear understand whether it is the Nova or its producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, I don't know if you are following the group, there is one at a very interesting point. If it is a public or some ex-person who is celebrating it, it becomes an opinion, it is not knowledge. So
Celebrity has to be
celebration,
accepted by many people.
yes, which means it is good if it is coming from an expert. Somebody who is
But I
critical.
think here this question says that you have a general or a universal sort of understanding that in arts, like subjectivity is highly valued, and in your historical accounts of it is overemphasized. Then they use historical bias, hence you must be objective as much as you can, as much as it is possible in history. It's a universal idea. It's not like
But
necessarily
isn't it about acquisition?
No, it could be
Rather than production also. Tell me who celebrates? The one who receives it. So isn't it about acquisition of knowledge?
even the artist,
They would have some context as to why
yeah,
it
and
is
the artist
celebrated.
does that. Like for example, you have
There is one thing like the definition of subjectivity simply says by also the quality of being based on or influenced by personal feeling, taste, opinion.
Yes,
Second definition, the quality of existing in someone's mind rather than external world.
yeah.
So if you are saying this,
Subjectivity
it
is
means when you are producing something, any form of knowledge, so generally, of course, it is you who is producing, so there is no question of subjectivity in it. Because when you are producing something, obviously it's your thing. It's not in art.
Will be also.
It will be every single subject, whether it's science. When you are producing something, you are producing it with your own mindset, with your own feelings. So subjectivity is.
No,
But if the external-
I don't agree because
But when you are consuming the knowledge,
That's why.
how your understanding is different from others.
when you are producing some scientific hypothesis or scientific idea, it has an objective process. You have come to that idea or that conclusion because you have observed. You haven't simply observed any like random thing. You are looking at it from a very scientific mind. Your hypothesis is also very scientific approach. Then you have the experimentation, which is tested, which is
For
falsified.
example, certain pieces which are abstracts made by some people, they will view it as a very good piece because it's their subjectivity which is coming. But when other people are either condemning it or celebrating it, it is on them and not on the person. Even I feel this is it on
If
the
it is
person.
my work, why
Yeah,
it is overly subjective?
So the author in arts, the artist's motive really does not matter also sometimes. It's just
That's what
art
I'm
for
saying.
art.
So it's nothing like subjectivity in the production. of art.
Production, that is what I feel.
Because there is, because you produce art from sheer imagination.
Yes, anything that you produce in the world, any form of knowledge, even in science, if you are making a hypothesis, that hypothesis also has the subjectivity of the person who has
You
observed it
have
somewhere.
interpretation. You have
No, but it has validity still, right? That can be shared across.
But
Yeah.
when someone will produce any knowledge in the world, every knowledge will have some subjectivity in it.
no, when we say
Any knowledge
produce,
produced in the
no,
world.
when we say
When I am producing something, so obviously it is coming from my mindset. And I
So you are
look
looking
into my
at it from a
perspective.
personal point of
see
view, the
when we
definition
say
of
the
something.
word, yeah, when we
Ah.
say the word produce, it is published knowledge. When it is published
Accepted by all.
If it is accepted by a larger body, then it
It is
becomes
shared
subjective in
knowledge.
nature.
So in a science, when something is shared, it is obviously ratified by a whole
It
lot of
becomes
scientists.
subjective when others are accepting it in the
And that
same
is
way
what-
as you produced it.
Yes, production of knowledge is only when it is accepted.
Yeah.
Just because I can also come to the theory right now.
But somebody is going to accept it
Yes.
unless it is ratified
Yes.
by a whole
So I will not think the same thing as what we are saying.
No. Just because I think of something, it doesn't have any value unless and until the
So what when you are saying
in
you are an
science,
artist?
especially in science. I'm not talking
So
about.
let's keep science out because this is so You are an artist, you made a particular portrait as per your imagination, and abstractly makes no sense to anyone of us. Who is overly celebrating art? Who is overly celebrating this art?
That's what I told you. Now in this case,
So
I
I
will
feel
say.
it is you will obviously because you cannot celebrate
No,
because
that
your
doesn't have any value. If I am the author, I will celebrate it. It doesn't have any
and
value.
that's what I feel. And when we are saying we accept it because it's your imagination, it's open to acceptance, because we understand your viewpoint and imagination, we are overly celebrating your
No,
subjectivity.
you may not understand what his motive also was at all. You just see the canvas, you see the splash of colors, or you read a short story. You may not know the author's motive at all, but you are able to somewhere resonate with that idea and you celebrate that. Maybe a word, a phrase, a color, a stroke of brush, or a certain
No, I just, this is a very good, there is a good discussion happening in the group. What I understood about art and history, again coming from David's corner, he says the word art means the method which is used to produce art. The piece is not an art. He's saying that the product,
It's the process.
it's the process. He's saying the subject
It is about methodology.
the method, and he's also saying the same thing for history. He's saying the history is not the knowledge. The process through which historiography is what you have to focus on this title. That's what he's saying. So the subjectivity here has to focus on the method. The focus has to be on the method. The subjectivity is about the method, not on the final outcome.
Because method gives you that
The
base
scope.
collect and
The scope
consolidate the
can
knowledge.
be interpreted in many ways.
So is the methodology in a particular way when the consolidation of knowledge has happened, is it giving you scope for subjectivity to be
Yes.
celebrated?
That is what they have analyzed. Yes, that is the
So
question.
what we are
Right.
saying is, do you all agree with this particular thing?
What?
Like, what is your viewpoint on this? Let's talk about it.
No, that is not. See, how you look at the word subjectivity. The word subjectivity here is focusing on the method using which the art was produced, and not on the outcome of the art.
Yeah.
Similarly, the same with history. So the child should not.
You have scope also, like scope and methodology.
To what extent is the method allowing you to?
That's what is my thing.
Hmm.
Even in sciences, when you choose to produce something or you choose to do an experiment, you are the one who is deciding the method of doing that thing. There can be multiple ways of doing one thing.
See here.
The one which you are deciding, how are you deciding that? Based on your
There is some amount of imagination. as well.
Personal
So
body.
what is imagination?
Why?
Is it a-
I'm stopping there. There is definitely some amount of imagination there. But unless and until that method is corroborated by other people to be a valid method, that method won't be accepted by the bigger community.
Unlike in arts. Unlike in arts.
So when you are saying the same thing that unless and until it is accepted and corroborated with the others, is what I'm saying, unless you get that acceptance from the people who are acquiring that knowledge, it will never be celebrated.
That happens in
Yes.
history, but not
In
That's
science.
what you are saying.
In
in
science.
science and history,
No,
not
in
in arts.
science, it is not like it's completely objective, comparatively less subjective.
Right?
Correct.
But there is
Correct.
subjectivity.
There is subjectivity is
That's what
absolutely
my thing is.
impossible. It is not
So
possible.
it is
But
inevitable.
just because I produced it, it is you cannot call it a subjective. It's not
We
a
are not talking about.
Arts,
I think
arts
what
are
we're trying to figure out who are these people who are overly
Huh.
condemning it and who are the people who are
but that's not the question.
See, there are two ways to look at it. He's talked about what are the various possible arguments. One is who's celebrating it, who's condemning it.
Yeah.
Point number one. And the second one is what is that which is under the radar of subjectivity. Right? Rather, in this case, it is the method using which the art is being produced and not the product of art.
You know, I feel somewhere when you say method, what is happening is art is it's more about imagination of a person.
Correct, creativity,
It's
imagination.
about evidence and collection of data. Evidence and collection of data, if it goes wrong, a little bit also, if it deviates, people will condemn it. No, it's not because subjectivity is coming out.
No, see,
But
in
in arts,
that
we will
case-
say, but listen to me. In arts, what will happen is if it's debating because there's no way, there's no fixed pattern, it's an imagination.
Correct.
We'll say, it's okay, I accept yours. So I overly celebrate it, but I condemn because I know the facts and figures of the data of history.
Overly
That is why I
celebrated is
condemn.
even after knowing that there is a clear subjectivity in the subject, we still accept it, okay, it's fine, it is subjective.
But it's a
But in history at the same time, when we see the bias, we look at it with different perspectives and the motives behind the bias. and we just
And
say,
in terms of arts, that personal touch in
It's a
itself,
method and a
yeah, it resonates with the audience. So,
subjectivity is a method.
so that personal expression is celebrated because of the fact it can have a certain impact on the audience.
So subjectivity is a method and a tool in arts.
So you should look at
Innovation and creativity will always be there in arts, right? Whereas
why are they overly celebrated? You have to look at what are the reasons why it is overly celebrated.
No, it is accept. It's equal to acceptance of imagination of everybody in art.
Because personal experience influences artists and emotions. Artists' emotion shapes art. Then, but all this doesn't really happen in history. Personal feelings, emotions.
It's completely
all in
different.
art.
There
But in
is
history,
no
you
role
have
for personal emotions.
historians.
no, that's fine, ma'am. But
If you are
if
personally
one
involved
was to
in art,
offer an
then
alternate stance, for example,
You
like
don't have to offer an alternate stance.
no, like if someone takes the opposite view and says that some sort of subjectivity in history is also needs to be
They are not
celebrated,
banning subjectivity in history. They are saying
overly
they
celebrated.
are overly condemned.
No, but unfairly condemned.
Unfairly
Is it
condemned.
unfairly condemned?
Like the Diary of Anne Frank, right? That subjective account is still offering us insights, even though it's not completely objective based or been peer reviewed and
Yeah, so you
whatnot.
have to know historians' bias.
But same in history, I can feel it is not always unfairly condemned.
Yeah, that's exactly true. The subjective
And
accounts
there is
are
subjective
of
accounts.
value.
You have to show
As long
instances.
as
You have to show
Like,
instances.
Christopher Columbus is where he's celebrated in some areas, perspectives for new discovering of the world and whatnot. Whereas indigenous population massacre is another perspective that they believe, right? So in that case, us having the ability to be able to judge these different perspectives is subjective, right?
also the
Because
emotion.
Columbus is maybe either castrated or
Okay, yes,
celebrated
I'm
within
going to
history.
do
But
this.
Yeah, we have to mind.
view of Christopher Columbus and his journey.
Yeah. So based on who views the accounts, whether from the indigenous side or from the
It also relates to the emotions. For example, partition of India, for the people it was a good thing because you divided the country and to avoid the future.
But the turmoil can
But
only-
those people who had to move, if you look with their perspective,
exact like the oral accounts of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. People just gave their subjective accounts of what happened. So yeah, so whatever factual accuracies were there is present historian-wise. But if a historian was to take their accounts into play, then emotional resonance would be valuable, right?
That is
These
always part of
conflicts,
counter
we show that
different perspective.
something like that in history is
Needed.
Very unfairly.
I think that is only a
See, the
general
very
case.
fact we are saying that India, Pakistan, so India looks at Pakistan from its perspective and Pakistan looks at from its perspective. You are saying about Hiroshima.
Yeah.
All this like dichotomy that we have is obviously negatively viewed. And we say it should not happen.
It should not happen.
I mean,
But-
we should be looking at history holistically from an objective point of view.
But wouldn't a historian like actually be would think this is advantageous because you're challenging the dominant
You
narrative?
have for historians bias, but most often it is negatively viewed.
I think we'll move on here.
But then,
We'll go to the next one.
When we are asking for unpacking by the students, we will not ask them to give any example.
We will not. We should
We have to
rather
make
ask
sure
them
they don't give any
Yeah.
to. We should
example.
rather ask them to.
Just give the
arguments,
pointers and not a single
arguments,
example.
point of views.
That's
one question. So what we're doing it right now, we're saying that we're moving on, but we've not reached
we've come to different
Consensus.
perspectives. Let's now
There is no way we can do
No,
this.
if you see, maybe in history there are chances of subjectivity which is there, but it's not a general case.
Yeah.
Which can be taken in terms of different perspectives that we are doing. But in art, it's a very general idea that subjectivity is accepted and that's why it is overlooked.
So we can also look at the
Unfairly,
consequences
if you
of
look at it, there is an
subjectivity.
underlying assumption that
overly
subjectivity is not good for history.
Yes.
Yeah.
Subjectivity is not good for
Because we
history.
never know what
Is
is the
what-
fact and what is the truth.
No.
Because it's
And we
subjective.
should also look at the consequences of subjectivity and its impact on the knowledge. We should
With
also
regards to
have
arts, with regards to
with
history.
regards to arts and
Yes, to what extent subjectivity is important in the field of arts, subjectivity is important in
the
the field
impact
of
on that
Correct.
on that knowledge.
Correct.
And we can even say this, subjectivity is there, it is celebrated but not overly, it is condemned but not unfair.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel because we are
The words,
perspective, when we say
the
remove
keywords,
the word overly and
the key, you see, the command term is this, and subjectivity, this is the command term. Keywords would be
subjectivity overly
Overly
celebrated,
overly celebrated,
and
unfairly
very
celebrated, and all the keywords which the student will have to.
yeah.
Okay.
And it is within reaching conclusion as to who is
No, it's up to the child.
It's up to the
Child, in this case,
So your context and making sure that it is towards the producer or is it towards the
Consumer.
So, yeah.
What that will do the context?
Challenge will have to explain that who is celebrating it.
Ah.
Otherwise, it will be experts who are celebrating it, or it is the audience celebrating
And
it.
if the candidate completely does not put it through all that, and he looks at the records of the school and the
Then it will
sports,
be-
and
then it will be experts. Then it will be the experts. If you're looking, I think it is, yeah, I mean, if you have to avoid opinion based writing, then it
Yeah,
has to be experts.
it's completely take the angle of how subjectivity looks like in arts, over subjectivity, how it looks like in history. Why is it negatively used? What are the consequences of overly like subjective approach in history and the other thing? What is the impact on knowledge? If you have all these arguments, so then you are not really looking at the audience.
In terms of the negative aspect, ma'am, that you're pointing out, so is bias the only point?
No.
What else is there?
Historians,
Yeah, apart from bias, what would be the other reasoning behind that?
Inaccurate evidences and the interpretation of their evidences
Yes.
also.
historians,
You might have evidence, but it's why interpretation of evidence is also
Good evidence. Can emotion can be considered as a good evidence when it comes to history? We're talking about history and all
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah,
So can that be considered as a good evidence?
it is hindrance to objective historical account.
Okay.
And it
So,
influences on the-
While it offers emotional depth, it cannot be accurately representative of reality, right?
it would be and it possible to do.
like and
But see, that is not the only way of. The emotion can also be considered as a good evidence.
For representing reality.
It can be a way to lead to the accurate data also.
There are two ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, I think it's very contextual. You can have many combination combinations.
but however in history you can't only rely on an emotional account like
Account.
and
See,
in
that-
arts you can.
That could be an implication.
This is a good
Then
viewpoint
it's
to
art.
have
You
actually.
have to back it up in history
And
by
Frank
and
is
by
also
backed up by
Yeah,
others.
exactly.
History of people.
But however in arts
They
it is
use
done.
it as an
Yeah.
artifact.
So,
Specifically,
Mainly used in literature.
But Anne Frank is also an artifact for history. Right?
Yeah, but you can't base everything about holocaust on that.
No, it is one of the evidence.
That's
one, not the only
That's a keep it as a part of art rather than.
No, they can keep it under both.
You can say one of the
One of the evidences which is used to understand the trauma which people had to go through during.
yeah, so it is like this anecdotal evidence.
Yes.
That.
But you want to be based on.
You can't only be based on
So if at all if you come to a conclusion about the Nazi war based on only Anne Frank,
no, then you don't get a representation of reality.
then it is just to be condemned.
Most relevant.
Second one, how can we? The command term is how can we, right?
Reconcile.
Reconcile.
This is where
Now, specialization, generalization, again,
It talks about demand, specialization, generalization.
what do you mean by
reconcile.
reconcile?
Reconcile means-
Both are valuable, yeah.
I really what are the assumptions? The assumptions are saying that with regards to production knowledge, there is something called a specialization, there is something called a generalization. That is the first assumption. The second assumption is that you need them to be together.
Yeah,
It is necessary for them to be together, and it is possible for you to achieve that as well. So these are the main
Possible to
assumptions.
see what?
The assumptions.
Yeah.
First is there is something called a specialization, there is something called a generalization in the area of knowledge.
And there's
Second
something
thing
that
is it is possible for you to look at them together.
you
It is
just have to search how can you.
how
Actually, the
the
word is how here,
The
and
command
not
was-
about you're reconciling or not.
How is
Yeah, that is what
it?
is
The
the
method.
Yeah.
Method is important. You have to mention how you reach.
Yeah.
the command term is how.
How? We have to look at the
Yeah, so
structure.
we have to, the students have to first understand what is specialization, what is generalization, command.
You can't oppose it. I mean, you can't oppose it.
This is also one more debate happening is the title last year was not last year.
Bubble one.
Second one, truth and fact. Even in the guide, the subject report, it was mentioned that it is not a good idea to define
They
the
always say.
definition for truth and fact. I think the
Yes,
same thing
something
applies.
like even in the first one, you don't need to define subjectivity. What you need
Many
to
of us
explain
will
is
know
the
what
word
words
itself.
that
You know, I think in the thesis when they are making a point is how subtly they can explain what subjectivity to them mean in terms of their title. This is what they should not say, oh, me subjectivity means that. Not a very
They
explicit
have to
definition.
draw some boundary to the definition of.
But in terms of generalization and specialization, you have somewhat of a concrete definition.
That has to.
That has and when you say the word your reason side, it means harmonizing opposite ideas, demands, and finding a middle path or a middle path.
Isn't it about more of when I say generalization, it means that for example in maths, there are certain things which are very general, which are very maybe conceptual, and then probably when we have to specialize, it's only based on that particular thing.
Yeah.
So when both of these areas are taken into consideration for any area of knowledge, it actually produces knowledge.
Generalization is very broad. It is
And
very
so
safe.
specialization is coming to a very
It is the
specific
fundamental principles of any area.
And both are important.
And it is like knowledge which is applicable in all the areas. Whereas specialization is
Deep knowledge.
niche.
And
This is
every subject has
Huh?
T-shaped knowledge. Meaning once one day you go deep,
Yeah,
you go.
all of the
But the specialization will be advancing the generalization as well, right?
Mm.
Because it's
So that could be one way of demonstrating.
applying the generalization will be specialization.
applying
No.
the no, I mean to say that, for example, if there is some sort of cutting edge discovery in a specialized field, it will lead to advancements in the overall field itself, right?
Or it can be generalization can help you to come up with a specific because it can steer you towards a specialized area.
Yeah.
Apply that generalization.
that paragraph will be about your harmonizing the reconciliation, where you integrate specialized knowledge to show some like general principles or applying the general principles in specific situations.
So we have to talk about how maths and one area has very specific things and very generalized things, and we need the generalized to make sense of specialized, and we need to have specialization to authenticate the
Only that is
generalized.
Statistical description.
Natural science, yeah.
And maths would actually go very
But
well.
the question of how can
But math and art.
how can we?
How can we
Math
reconcile
and
number
arts.
one is by first is balancing
Miller combination.
how we can
Balance
balance
You can't treat knowledge in compartments.
It can be any subject.
if we are able to integrate specialized knowledge with the general principles, if we are able to apply the general principles in the specific studies, if we can use the basic concepts in a specialized research work, if we apply maybe advanced theories to some issues, problems, and if we could maybe combine the niche research with more broader knowledge. We have to search RLSs for all this, like real life situations. But so this is the only way we can
You know, I can give it because we are talking about maths. Talk about the maths which we have. There is nothing. Analysis of maths and also application of maths. Analysis of maths is all about theories of maths. And application of maths is all about statistical approach of maths.
Application.
So now see how maths has also got into two different fields. So they are having a demand of having one at a time and not the other. They have a demand of having two different streams of applying maths and analyzing maths. And then
So how do you fit this into the
that is what I'm saying. So this is something because I found this title to be the most very
No, for example, for maths and building a basic, you have algebra, all these basic fundamentals of math which are really broad
It
and
can be
broad.
even like if you take
But
example,
Pythagorean theorem and all
human
that
sciences,
stuff.
when we are saying in this particular season there is very heavy rainfall is happening or rainfall is happening without a particular season. So generally people relate it to the concept of maybe climate change. So climate change has a very generalized, but an expert can tell you exactly what are the geographical reasons. Maybe this year El Nino situation is there. So
Yeah.
how you are relating the specialization plus you're also looking at the concept of climate change is a more generic idea, and you are becoming
But
somewhere
how
reconciling.
can you, the method will decide.
Yeah.
Yes.
In your natural science, if you take up, you have the generalization in so many scientific methodologies is applicable in so much like general information. But if you want to enter into any specific science like research, maybe something.
One example which again, was discussed was in medicine.
Genetic
In
modification.
medicine, there are, if you look at medicine, there are specialized fields like, you have got ortho,
Neurologist,
you've
heart
got
specialist.
cardiac specialist, you've got neurologist. That could be specialization. And at the end of the day, it's the whole body which you have to look at it. So maybe on those lines. But I can't give you an
But
example.
again, the question how do we do this?
I don't know.
So how do we
This is one
reconcile
thing
all
is-
these other?
I feel, I don't know why I feel like maths point what they are trying to say is every subject has both. And if one subject does not have one, for example, it's too generic, it will not give you an application of that particular thing. If it's only applied, it will not give you the base to make how possible the application is. So I'll give you an example. Here, for example, you say about geography, I get about business. Now you, for example, for a generalization is we teach a student, this is a very simple example. We teach a student all types of business here. So we teach them HR, we teach them marketing, we teach them finance. Then they specialize. So the demand is they need generalization in that, and they try to pick up specialization to make sense of management.
Isn't this why we do it? What you're saying
How
is,
means
in my
I think it can be the combination of observation and the scientific evidence together.
Yeah.
When you combine them, then you can reconcile it. Observation is
Observation is by itself.
observation in general and the data and
Every
scientific
month.
approach can be specialized.
every month you are looking at
And data
rainfall.
observation, one of the same thing.
What?
We must first.
Your observation is your data.
what is in mind like that?
I was
It can be specific, yeah.
But reasoning is not generic.
And data is not.
So what sir is saying is that there is a feedback loop that keep on enhancing the two fields together, right? That's the reconciliation. That if you're observing through that, it can lead to.
There is connection.
Absolutely. First, we must have this common understanding of the word opposing your demands. What do you understand by opposing demands?
Opposing one can be something which is a correct explanation and something which is generally understood by the people to explain their understanding. Like for example, if simple, the rainfall is for them something which is happening unnecessarily is because something is wrong with the climate and that's why people are considering. So there has to be some explanation to the understanding to the people that is required. But you
Yes,
can't give
yes.
them a scientific explanation to everyone, and that's why there has to be generalized explanation for the people, keeping in mind their demands. Because their demand is a simple version of explanation.
The dissemination of knowledge is affected because
Can
of
you
that.
explain everything with scientific evidence?
Okay,
No, we have to provide a general explanation.
Yeah.
Make
Can
sense
we
of
follow
the
the-
data of the data.
So if you have to have a theory in place, you need to generalize it. But
Can you
Theory
explain?
can be called as generalization. Yes.
Yeah, so
Can be
if
called
you
as
have
generalization.
any
But
concept-
there are theories which won't work for all applications. They are
yes.
specialized.
So then case by case we need to specialize. I don't know if I'm making sense. But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So theories work both ways. There are certain theories which are highly specialized
Yeah.
based on the control variables, based on the
Yes.
environment. It's a highly specialized. It works only under such
So
circumstances.
to make sense of the complex world, we need to generalize.
Two, yes.
Yeah.
So that would be what the question is. How?
But the
question is how. See,
But-
what is because we understand that there is specialization, but how
So
to
what you
use
say,
it?
the information that is passed on to the public to make sense of the thing which is happening around.
See, now the
Make
how
sense of
is
the
exactly
exactly
why.
why.
That is,
No,
we are
how
not
is
saying
it?
why.
I
It's
have
how.
mentioned so many hows. I have mentioned.
Okay, let's listen to the Jaya
I
again.
have
Go on.
mentioned. Okay, let's look at the first one.
Another-
Integrating specialized knowledge with the general principles. Show me an example.
Interdisciplinary.
Integrating specialized knowledge with the general principles. Show us a, show me a.
Integrating
Yeah.
specialized knowledge.
Math and arts, we have the golden ratio in math, right? But it's informing the generalized overview of the aesthetic look of using the golden
That
ratio.
is specialized in math
And generalized in art.
Yeah. Generalization in art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the question is how?
No, so we have integrated. How is the
We
integration?
reconcile. That's
We have reconciled. How do we reconcile? By number one, as you mentioned, watching it live. Those scientists know the specialized knowledge, but for our public misconception.
Isn't it generalized? Why do we reconcile? We reconcile because the general public cannot understand.
Yeah.
So again,
So
this
that is
is
why.
knowledge.
I
Isn't that why?
But that is why how do we reconcile? By integrating the number one method is integrate your specialized knowledge with the overall or the universal knowledge. So first
I
is
think when you
integration.
are providing method to something, that is specialization. For example, Chandrayaan. So how the Chandrayaan is going to reach there? There is a specialization behind it. There is a team of astronauts or maybe the scientists who are working here. They know exactly how much fuel is required or whatever.
Just coming on
When
the
there is a
second.
generalization means the general explanation of the system or the process is generalization. Right? There is required a rocket which does not reach there and it's going to send a
And you
picture.
are running the commentary for the general public.
So,
also.
ma'am, what you're implying is application versus what? Like the theory. How do you define that?
Not
Theory.
Not
No, theory means
necessarily application.
because the specialized knowledge is how it's happening, like the scientist going on the moon, and for the general public, it would be that theoretical
If you see another
premise.
example, 9/11 happened. Also, we learned that boat aeroplane, if collided with the building, will
Yeah.
collapse.
I-
Okay, the
there
simple
are
thing you
things-
understood. But actually, if scientifically for some specialized person, why do they require the specialized people? They have find out exactly what was the angle, how it collided, so that the whole building collapsed in a vertical way rather than
For
horizontal.
example, in your English, we have these infographics. We have really complex issues like your demonetization and all that. We have
Or
these simple
it can be
infographics
simple if
for
you
the-
want to jump.
But the special knowledge.
If you want to jump, for example, there is a gap between the road and you want to jump your car from here to here. The simple generalization, if your car is coming at fast speed, it will jump. Simple thing. But I think specialization is required how much speed or the velocity and how much angle is required so that it will cross.
So how do we bridge that? Through integration. But what is through integration? Like for
What are the other reasons?
Okay, the other. The
For
one for example.
example, you are starting a new experiment. Tell me where do you take the knowledge from? The
Generalization.
general theory. Any experiment
Ma'am,
will never get
that
started.
is understood now. The question is how.
So I am saying you this experiment is the this is how
I am
we
willing to
have.
accept it. I am just trying to listen to you.
So this
Yes.
is how we. When I am saying you're doing, for example, the Chandrayaan, they never thought out of the black that this will happen. They had their things in place, the theories in place, the system in place which taught them the basic principles. Then they came up to specialization of one.
Give me one argument.
Huh?
Give me an argument.
Argument for what I'm giving you a particular perspective
Make it
about
as an
it.
argument. Make it as a claim. This is the way we can.
So
You
it is a
decide.
specialization of what.
I'll make the topic's statement for her now. What she's saying about this lecture plan and this theory. So her topic sentence, if she was writing an essay on that, would be applying all these advanced scientific theories and knowledge to the general issues or problems that why was it essential for India to land on the moon? So that's why. But how did we do it? By applying those theories into the
Can I say something? Could assumptions be how we reconcile?
Okay, this one
Yeah,
we
yeah.
are missing
You
somewhere.
can say that.
It's production
Yeah,
of
so when you
knowledge.
hold assumptions, so that is specialized knowledge, but you cannot generalize it. But once, when you like in science, how you have controlled variables, so
Yes.
once you have assumptions and controlled variables, you can generalize it.
The moment you take into consideration, you don't have control of it, actually. The moment you take control of it,
See, yeah, so
I
if you
think-
don't have controlled variables, you can't generalize it because everything will be case by case, case by case, case by
Yes.
case.
The
The
more there
moment
is,
you hold assumptions, you make so law of demand says that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Okay, ceteris paribus. That is not assumption because in the real world there are multiple factors that impact demand.
That's why
So
we
to
say-
generalize it, so specialization would be relationship of demand with income, relationship of demand with price of
So
income.
in your case-
This is specialization. But when we generalize the law of demand, we hold all of those constants. So we have reconciled that there are those opposing demands. And how do we reconcile? By holding assumption and making it generalized.
one thing is-
that is the argument. I will tell you how you can go with that. See, with regards to specialization, there will be the more list of assumptions which is specialization. Correct? More list of
okay, yeah.
more list of
Okay.
assumptions is specialization. To
Okay.
the extent to which you can remove those assumptions, it becomes generalized. So the only way you can
How
achieve
can I
how can we reconcile is through as many studies as
Yeah.
possible. You conduct as many studies as
But
possible.
then
In the case,
generalizing.
See, if I go to,
if you're holding assumptions means what? You're restricting the environmental
see, you know
conditions.
what? If I go to advise my student how to write, okay, this essay, this was the class, you know, how to explain the demands of specialization for each of the subjects and the demands of generalization after the class, how do you reconcile looking at all these pages?
I think one thing somewhere is missing, that is production of
Production of knowledge, which
Yeah.
means it is about
Yeah.
experts. The word we here means experts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're talking about experts.
Even when an expert starts working on something, they do observe the general thing. For example, when you create hypothesis requires a general idea.
yeah.
And hypothesis itself in
So in this case, you know what? How do you reconcile it? One of the ways,
That's
in
generalization.
one of the ways by which you can go from specialization to generalization is replicability. If I can replicate that experiment as many times as possible across the world, if I get the same result, then it can be considered to be a what?
Yeah.
It can be considered to be a universal law. So that is one technique in natural science where you can move from specialization to generalization. In our
when
case,
we
with regards
talk in the
to
context of explanation, then it is integration.
Yeah, then it's integration.
If you
Because
are seeking
I
explanation,
feel that law of demand is a generalized thing because we hold things constant.
No,
Specialized would be when I remove
but
it, then it
it's a
becomes
genuine
case by
one.
case basis.
Law of demand will work for all conditions, all countries, all contexts.
No, that's
That is what I'm saying. Except as we hold things
So
constant.
Sriram, the example
And
that
therefore
you
it becomes
example that you gave, that if you repeat an experiment, now who's repeating that? Someone who is specialized,
Correct.
not a general person.
No, no. The word we mean here is expert.
So when
Means we're talking about experts.
when that expert is not,
I thought you would like a hot coffee.
so when that expert is not repeating something and understands the pattern, and that pattern helps that expert to understand the behavior of your public. So it is what? It is trying to predict something about the general public via the route of specialization. So the repeatability. Hence, it is the integration. One is integration.
See, that is the case. That is exactly the title is asking. You have to reconcile it.
No, how is integration?
In
That's
this case,
not-
my answer is replicability.
No, repeatability is being done by a specialist.
Correct.
So it's not being done by a.
So how do you interpret the word we here?
What?
How do you interpret the word we? Who are we here? How can we?
They are specialists.
producer of the news.
The producer is a specialist.
Correct.
What I'm thinking at the word is integration. How is number one is integration?
I can go to examples if you can discuss the title of what the title is telling us is.
Right.
First of all, opposing. You understand it means generalization and specialization is really opposing. And the word demand. So the child has to get you the word opposing is very clear. You have to talk about demand.
Yes. Why there is a
It
need
has to
for
be a demand, it has to be specialization, it has to be generalization, it has to be reconciliation.
yes.
All together as fractional knowledge.
There are
If
two
everything has to
keywords.
be, then you justify
Yes.
the
There are too many keywords.
Otherwise, no.
Let's
So
move
I
on.
really feel the world is complicated. That from and to make sense of the world, we hold assumption and generalize.
Yeah.
So assumption.
Yes. The moment you talk about assumptions, I would rather use the word specialization. It is too complicated.
No,
To
avoiding
simplify it.
specialization,
No.
avoiding specialization.
it's a generalized assumption that all swans are white, right? But
Can we say it as causality simply? How do we do it? By causality. Cause and effect. Cause is generally specialized, effect is generally generalized.
no, but I was saying that that was a generalized assumption until we found out that swans were black as well, right? So that entire discovery of the finding an alternate species is the specialized version of it. It's a generalized assumption, right? So assumption would not be specialization per se.
Yeah, like from my subject point of view, assumptions mean from science point of view, I would look at this.
Sriram,
I don't know. Yeah, let's move to the next one. Nothing is more exciting than fresh ideas. So that is an assumption again.
What we want in third one now.
Yeah.
Nothing
We'll
is more
do
exciting
that.
fresh ideas. So why are
Why are areas of knowledge? Why are areas of knowledge often closed to adopt them? Now, why is the comment down here? Why are ideas is the key word. Yes, ideas could mean theories, it could mean new method.
Method that includes only here is
No,
not.
no, this can also be a theory.
new perspectives?
New perspectives, new theories, new method, new tool.
So hence we are excited about.
Yes.
Because why are we excited? Because it maybe stimulates curiosity.
Why are areas of knowledge? Now, areas of knowledge. Now, how do you look at the word areas of knowledge? Does that mean experts? How do you look at the word areas of knowledge? Do they mean experts or do they mean?
I think somewhere there is a paradigm challenge.
We'll come to that. We'll look at areas of knowledge only experts.
Yeah, to an extent. Because now who
Now, in that case, ma'am, I have a question. Why did they not use the word expert there? Why did they not word it as why are experts? Why are experts? Why did they not use the word experts? Why are they using
Because it's implying the word adopt. Who adopts and consolidates an area of knowledge? No.
My second question
It
is
is
why are
about
we going
knowledge.
to debate
Adopt.
simply the areas of knowledge that can be produced and can be
Source of knowledge
consumed.
is more
exciting
So
than
it-
fresh
So it can be
But
it doesn't matter. It is
if we talk about new knowledge, innovation, again, we have to give specific examples.
from experts' point of view.
From experts' point of view, also we can do it, and the receiver and
1 minute, why are we going into experts? We are changing.
That-
Yeah, you
Title
do
is
not talk of, do not impose words in a title.
yeah.
I don't know, as an examiner, I'm telling you, I'm warning you, you all are twisting titles now.
We are glad to understand.
No, you, the moment, why bring in the word expert in this title? Where does it say?
No, I'm
It's simply telling you, I mean, just look at the title and unpack a title. Nothing is more exciting than fresh ideas is a statement that they made. That fresh ideas are always exciting. Now the question that they are throwing there in this is, if it is exciting, why do we resist? And then they have asked us, human science, to look at from the lens of human science, the resistance, what causes this resistance? If at all the student wants to say there is resistance.
Correct.
Or there
There
could
is
not
no
be
resistance.
resistance.
That is
Whichever thing the child says, the child will have to look at both lenses if the child wants to.
First half of the
And
sentence
choose
is-
another area which matches as well, which allows for new ideas, creativity versus. So now which are the factors you're going to look at? That is what you have to unpack a title with. Do not impose words into a title. It will take it to a completely different. Where is it talking about experts over here? Why are we bringing in the word experts? You are immediately moving it towards a direction
The
then.
question is, how do you? So are we looking at it from the expert point of view? What is the?
Why are we looking at expert point of view? You and me also. Anyone. It could be just about anybody.
For example, is some of the Muslim countries they completely denied the use of vaccine for COVID because simple reason that is culture.
Cultural,
Yeah, they are not
exactly.
expert, but still they didn't accept the new ideas.
So are they societal? Are they psychological? Are they cultural? Are they structural
Ethical is also
factors which influence this?
Ethical factors are also.
All that you have to look at
It
is
can be
that.
finance also.
Finance,
Ideas
yes.
there, we don't have
Can we
ideas.
use human sciences and build up that, like ma'am said, psychological factors?
It can be.
Ethical
Of
factors
course.
can also
I
be.
think biases can also be there.
Bias.
I am biased, I don't want to.
If you're saying no, what it's telling you to do is, if human sciences is slow in adopting it, what are the causes in human sciences that is going to bring in this
In the
slowing
perspectives,
down?
In the perspectives, in the
So that's what I said. Is it something to do with societal factors? Is it structurally as a human science that there are causes? Are there psychological aspects related to it? Are there cultural angles to it? Vis-a-vis, now I would choose arts because arts tends to be open, creative. It calls for ideas. There are no definitions. There are no demand supply. Say again, I keep using demand supply, but there are certain aspects which you go by. There's no multi-sim theories and all that. While there is a certain amount of framework in the art, the openness of the art and towards creativity vis-a-vis science or human science. Now here human science you have to take as human sciences. So you have to look at which what factors in the human sciences and the other area that you choose cause in the slowing down of adoption of new ideas despite it being exciting. That is what you have to look at. Simple,
So
straight.
you have to look at what is an exciting idea.
No, it can be
Anything.
Human science is it observation that you need more? Is it more authentication? Something is you may not.
I think
No, 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 no.
Culture would be a reason why we don't want to change.
This is got nothing to do with methodology. Please look at scope of the human sciences, scope of
Even
the
method,
other.
what if it is an ethical issue? What if to do with
Ethics is not a method at all anymore. Ethics is a part of all your areas of knowledge.
No,
It's not a methodology.
no. What if a method has got ethical issues in it? So due to which we are trying to, let's say for example using robotics.
So that's not method, that is ethical issue. That's what I'm saying. Whether it's psychological, cultural, societal, structural.
If we are not using robotics in operation, is the reason ethical or the reason is our robots do not have the technology that we are 100% sure that they will operate?
Once
We have evidence
If
for that.
they are 100% sure,
We have evidence for that.
if we are using robots for cleaning the house.
In this case,
There is
acceptance
no
is the
ethical-
problem.
There is no ethical thing.
Acceptance, why? Reason is on what basis, what holds you to accept?
Accept.
What holds you to say robot can clean a floor but not operate?
Here they also, remember, this is not about not accepting. This is slow in adopting.
Yeah.
They are not saying they will not adopt.
It will take time for us to get used to
While
that.
I'm excited to hear of a new
Yeah,
thought.
but let's say you should first look at the fresh ideas, after that slow adoption.
No, why?
And you have to look at also the various consequences of slow adoption.
That will be
in
indication.
human sciences and in the
That
other
will be
areas. So
indication.
what happens if you
That will
you are
be,
slow to adopt?
that the evidence, why, that's what I'm saying.
That's it. All these three are.
If there is. Yeah.
I think even
That's
in
it.
sciences, when we talk about economic reasons can be there, if a country is not adapting to the fresh idea of sustainability, they don't have.
That's what I said, structural changes.
Structural.
I said, I use the word structural.
It also could be resistance to new ideas because of the established paradigms.
Even I'm trying to think of the fifth paradigm. Maybe because of
That's again psychological,
I
no?
think this one is the most simple essay.
even if you have
Actually, look at
institutions
the
established.
dimension of
That is
society
also
which
the
is
reason.
cultural. Psychological as a person, as he says, in your mind or in the group of the mind.
Ma'am, is it essentially anything that governs human behavior?
In your science, in your natural science, if you have a human science and a natural science, science will never adopt any idea unless
It is
you have a
verified.
scientific method.
Yes.
You have a school of thought known as slow science,
Yes.
isn't it? So slow science believes that the subject science is only robust when it undergoes.
Yes, it has to correct.
So now, this point when she's saying, you can look at the methodology.
Correct.
Because in the sciences, the whole process of
You have multiple peer reviews and this and that. So hence
vis-a-vis again the arts, which is open. I have an idea, you're going to throw the
Do
idea.
we have strong evidence to support that idea?
yeah.
If we don't have strong evidence, we will take time to arrive at that idea, to support that idea. I mean, the word ideas.
So I have a question. Because it says to why are areas of knowledge. So basically it's trying to say that whatever is understood as knowledge within history, yeah, that's what is referred to scope of history.
No, in this case, again, I'll go back to the method. Let's say you get a new piece of evidence in history. To what extent are historians going to take time to
So
adapt and
that's
accept
what
that piece of
I
evidence to
understand
alter
that.
history?
So again, it is an historian.
Yes.
It's not me.
The knower.
That's how I'm looking
That is
at
what
it.
I'm trying to
That's
say.
how I'm looking at it.
That's what I'm asking.
So in
Yeah.
this, it is they are not telling you to look at it from a historian point or whose point of view.
Yeah.
Certain AOKs, the adoption of new ideas is slower versus certain other AOKs. They have given you human science, you have to look at it and now you have to see why.
But my question is, who's adopting? Who decides what is knowledge?
Whoever it be.
But can it really be?
See, for you as a common man,
Yeah.
the idea comes or it gets accepted only once it is proven and reaches you when it comes to whichever you're talking of, natural
Yes,
sciences
yes.
and all that.
So it is the.
You might see an apple fall, but you did not know of it till it was all whatever.
So it is the experts or it is I may not use the term, but somewhere who's accepting it is knowledge.
No, required. No, don't again. Then you will.
It can be an expert who's nobody accepting, or it can be many people accepting, hence the expert is about.
The idea is not to mention it explicitly.
Yes.
Because when you're looking at the whole body of knowledge, like science, the whole vehicle moving on the human science, now so that has to be exposed. The movement, like the paradigm shift can
So
only be taken
that is exactly my question.
But we're not, what she's saying is we don't have to
Focus on it.
Yeah.
So if we are talking about the features of validity, then perhaps we can bring in the idea of peer
Yes.
review and whatnot,
Right.
right? Yes, good.
It is simply the accepting any fresh idea. It can be like, for example, people go to this new idea in history about what's the new person who is very famous
And
these
whoever
days.
brings a new idea, don't even stop it. Somehow.
But yes, who is accepting it then?
No,
It
but
can be anyone.
Anyone.
It can be another.
I don't think you should look at it from the lens of who is producing it and who is acquiring it. This is in terms of, do certain areas of knowledge have more freedom in the way in which you create, produce or acquire knowledge versus certain areas, so where the whole process is very different.
because my opinion on this landing of theory will have no effect on the scientists because I don't know anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the validation process, right? Again, and is that the only one that we have?
What kind of examples?
And the psychological
or
aspects.
we are reading acquisition of knowledge. That's a problem. See, I think we move to the next one.
Can we go back to second?
I know, I didn't know that.
You do it
I
again.
thought I couldn't understand whether you had finished the second or no.
No,
I
we've
mean,
not finished any.
then
Please,
why are we
please.
jumping?
Number 6 and then
No,
come
what
back to
is
second.
you are finishing? What else? Okay, let me ask
You
you this.
cannot finish.
You can't exactly.
You cannot
So
finish.
what else? What are the clarification we need? What are the clarification we need from the third item? The third item, the first assumption is fresh ideas and exciting.
Yeah.
That is the assumption. And it is also assuming that the areas of knowledge are slow.
Yeah.
That is also an assumption. The question which we have to answer is why.
The cause is
why.
why.
Right? Now, how do you implement
Since
the word?
the assumption is slow, so we have to make sure that the AOKs that we take are the ones who are slow to that, not like arts, for instance.
No, one you have no choice. They have already said human science. So that is why I'm saying, since human science already has a stringent framework to it, and there is versus the arts, which is absolutely open to the whole aspect of creativity and ideas.
So that won't be slow.
Then that's
So fresh ideas are always slow. How do you?
how will you
No, so you-
why?
When you're looking at in the human sciences, it is slower. You will always have to pitch it versus something else, no?
Yeah, that's
So that is where I'm saying, if you do it as a versus something, if you even give it a thought.
No, for example, human science you can still compare it to natural science. Because
Yeah.
human science, the variables are still not controlled
Human
as compared to natural science. So one way why we are slow in this is because we need replicability and more assurance. So we will try more times than what natural science
Obviously,
is. Because we have controlled variables.
Different parts of it.
Do we need to compare, or we can simply say there are conditions in which we adapt to the ideas quickly in comparison to certain situations.
That's
If
the
the-
point of view.
It can be any form of perspective na, that should just
No, we
include.
can't make it complete.
So can
No,
you
if the student decides to say, in the human sciences, yes, it is slow. However, it is not the case in all areas of knowledge. You will take the arts automatically. It is not forcing you to say it's all. It is nowhere saying it is slow. It's a question mark. Please read.
Why are areas of knowledge often so slow? So it is assuming it is slow. So you can challenge the assumption.
Of course, you're challenging it. And that would be a better way to put it than in anything else. Whether it is a human science, whether it's a natural science, whether it is mathematics, it will always be slow because the methodology in all these three are regimented. Versus,
So you can challenge the assumptions.
But at the same time, in all these areas of knowledge, it can also be very quick process if it is a demand for the people. Like for example, vaccination. We needed it.
Exactly.
Even after we didn't complete the process of creating a vaccine, we still accepted it.
yeah, because the need at that time.
Necessity, yeah.
Huh?
Necessity was
No,
The,
Necessity.
the emergency, the necessity at that
This
point of
can be
time, the
different
demand.
perspective also, na?
Yeah.
Point of view.
Okay, now we
Now-
are number 3.
Number 3 is done.
Done.
Number 4. Let's go back. After we done.
Yeah, now we are done with everything. Let's go back to
Number 4. The word do be. So the command term is be. No, do. sorry. Command term is do.
Underestimate.
Underestimate is a keyword.
Challenges.
Challenges, taking, I mean, it's the whole phrase, it is a keyword. Context is this very important keyword, right?
Original context. What do you mean by that? Original context.
Original context,
When it was
transferred
first
into a
incepted.
different context. Yes, and this is like this. When I was thinking about this title, it is possible for you to bring all areas of knowledge.
Yeah.
Almost all. So if I look at arts, I'm looking at translation. I'm looking at context as translation. Original context would be the language it was written, and different context would be.
You can look at historical examples and the contemporary examples.
Yes.
To see
And this one.
the context. Same with your history, science. Anyway, you can look at the historical. And
But with regards to natural science, I can't think of much examples where one thing I'm not sure. If you know the Scottish cat example, I'm not sure.
I think evolution theory of Darwin is applied to every single part of the world and which is going out of the context. Like that day I also told you, it is being applied from science. His whole theory was based on science. He never mentioned about society, politics, but now it is applied into politics also. And that's how the whole Germany thing happened.
The question is, do we underestimate here?
So
Ah.
here we do yes and
So,
no.
in this case, what? So you are looking. So you are looking at what? History and natural science as two areas of knowledge.
so we have this underlying assumption that
Darwin's
there
theory
are
of knowledge.
The area of knowledge will remain science, only the context is changing.
Yes and
It will
no.
be
Why is it
example,
in a
you say,
different context? You are applying something scientific theory
Evolution.
to a political context.
Okay, evolution, but okay, I see. Hitler took it as Aryan as the superior race.
The Aryan Dravidian.
He turned it into eugenics.
We're changing the complete context.
Okay.
Here also, I think you'll have to reflect on
He has
cultural
clearly mentioned
Temporal.
Culture, even
situation, cultural, situational,
and I think
Yeah.
I think
Context
theory
and how you interpret it thereafter.
interpretation is another key.
How you interpret and then after
That goes
and
with the
the relevance of that give
Ah.
to wherever you're
Whether
applying.
it's time also matters.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Temporal, the
Temporal.
Yeah, interpretation might
cultural,
change
temporal, situational
if viewed
context,
from a different
interpretation, and then the
In
relevance
regards
according
to
to.
science, I have to see environment. Like a study conducted.
challenges we have to look at.
Science is
Challenges
anything that
interpretation,
cannot be reproduced in the real world, right? Theoretical physics cannot reproduce it in the real world. They can only do it in a controlled setting. We cannot transfer the context.
Yeah. Can be Big Bang theory.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
Can you change the context?
You can't. It's the universe. How can you change the context there?
But that's why something can't change. the
Yeah,
context.
that's what they're trying to say. Certain things can
So
be
there is no
done.
way you can take the idea of Big Bang from the original context is Big Bang. Where are you shifting it to?
We are not
Yes,
saying
it's not
it.
shifting
We
that
can't
side.
set certain ideas. There is
Certain
no-
things,
But it is an assumption that you can. There is an underlying assumption that
Take it into
you can shift the context from the
Yeah.
origin to the
But whether
different.
it's challenging or not,
That is the answer.
Yes. The assumption.
assumption is that we're shifting, but whether it's
There are
inherent
Yes,
challenges.
there is. The
So
first
that's
assumption
the
is
level.
it is possible for you to transfer knowledge from one context to another context.
The other
So the
is
second assumption is there is a challenge.
Do we
You
underestimate or not? That is not yes or no.
So it is basically talking about the knowledge is getting exactly distorted when you are changing the context.
Yes.
We underestimate, yes, we don't underestimate.
So we have to also look at like this effect of the transferred knowledge.
Yes.
Is it oversimplified? Is it
Yes, oversimplification is
misinterpretation?
right. Oversimplification is also right. Yes.
Is it misinformation?
Misinformation is also one.
Yeah.
The last title is also very much related with misinformation. Yeah, anything else to be discussed or can we move on? So do we underestimate, yes or no? Why do we underestimate? Maybe loss of knowledge,
Yeah.
cultural element, yes. Or
And
think.
we must also
I think,
consider
yeah,
that
basically it's
what are-
reflecting on how culturally the time factor, so temporal or the situation impacts the interpretation of the knowledge.
The truth also can come into play.
Yeah, that's what. So the interpretation and the relevance of the knowledge. So that's the and then what is the other
Maybe
and then to the complexities in adapting it also.
How it influences meaning.
If you have transferred, can you adapt it to a new situation? Because the settings
What
have
are the
changed.
challenges in adopting is the question. And do we understand?
So what are the complexities? That's what. So you'll have to research into what are the complexities when you shift the new knowledge
And do we understand?
and into a new situation.
So when we shift new knowledge or when we transfer, then we might have problems in the process,
Adoption or
adoption,
It's not new knowledge.
sorry, not
It's
new
not
knowledge.
knowledge, it is knowledge existing.
The
But
feedback loop and all that is an issue.
fifth one, custodians. I mean, the command comes again, do. We,
Wire, custodian.
We-
But here, custodian of knowledge is an expert.
Yeah, it is very
one who
expensive.
preserves or protects knowledge.
Yeah,
that is not the
exactly.
only- That is preserves, protects, even
Shapes,
Safeguard.
even shapes.
produce.
Yeah.
These are the custodian.
It's again the thought of arguments possible here.
So it is whether it's a
Yes,
society, whether it's an institution, whether these are scholars,
Yes.
it could be any of these that you're referring to.
Yes. Yes or no kind of question. Do we need custodians?
So what is
Do we
the-
need them?
Can't be yes or no, that's the main thing.
No, why do we need them? If you then you have to go on to
If you just
argue about the implications. Argue about if you need a custodian of knowledge, why do you need them? What are the implications associated with having a custodian? Right? Maybe we can also link it with that. If there is a custodian, there is a good chance that fresh ideas won't be accepted quickly. And connecting with
So that is barriers.
Right number 3, barriers.
It
Yes.
also limits the.
You sometimes with regards to
Authority, bias.
Yes,
Yes.
controls the flow of knowledge.
Yes.
It is positive in the sense of preservation and all that.
with regards to science generalization, sometimes certain knowledge for the sake of easy communication, you need to generalize it. So you need custodians for that.
In your arts, you have bias, subjectivity, like
Okay.
censorship is there.
Now you also need custodians for a criticism, for a critique. What do you think we need custodians in regards to arts?
If
Like for example, I was thinking Oscars. Can we consider Oscars as a custodians of knowledge?
Not at all.
Or not? They are.
my question again is the same,
They are-
how Oscar is talking about knowledge.
Okay, let me go
Yeah.
back to the first argument. What is the word art is talking about the method used to achieve the art is
If we
produced.
take better example in patents.
Yeah.
There's certain patents of the vaccine
Yes.
which the inventor of that particular vaccine they didn't seek for the patent because they wanted world to have that particular vaccine at a lower price. If once it goes for the patent, the prices will increase because they have
Yeah.
to give the royalty.
Correct, okay.
So in that case, we did not make custodians,
So
we
the
did not make
patent
protectors.
person who is having the patent is the custodian of knowledge.
Correct. Who wants knowledge basically?
Yes. So now he is going to decide how and why the knowledge will be distributed or it will go to others.
Yes.
So it's the limitation for everyone else. So it's
There are
nobody
limits.
else can do
You
it.
have the
But
proprietary
in this,
right.
the patent cases, we do not need
That's what I'm saying.
custodians.
That's what-
But in some cases, we need custodians like WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certain knowledge cannot be passed to
Passed,
the whole public.
yes,
We
exactly.
need custodians to filter out.
Yes, yes.
Especially all those research work which is very.
No, even at the top, like when you're looking at a CBI, FBI, and all that, you will have to have custodian. So you will have to look at institutions, scholars, or any other such body that becomes a custodian.
However, it is required. However, all these are being limited in.
WHO, World Economic Forum,
Yeah.
all these are
So
institutions.
basically, the
But even for credibility of knowledge,
Yeah.
we need custodians. We need
So I
somebody.
think when it comes to the well-being, there we can really, or ethics of the knowledge, we can relate.
No, it's like even the church earlier were the custodians of knowledge.
Yes, there
And
is-
but what did they do? Because of that, they did not allow any translation.
Scientific.
They abused. So they abuse of authority. So those are examples. So you will actually
And
argue
those
that.
essentially misinterpret knowledge and all of that.
Because then they decide how the knowledge should be disseminated,
Yeah.
which could be biased according to what they want. So then them as custodians become more
I think
impediment.
this is the most easiest of the questions.
That's what I think as well.
Which one is easy?
Very, yes, they were.
Yeah,
Because and you can argue both sides.
Yeah,
you can argue both sides.
it's balanced.
You can actually bring in all the evidence.
That's why they've kept it open.
Okay,
They have
kept it
not.
open.
That's why they've kept it open also.
Only somebody observing
The next one is natural sciences has to do.
finding
Yes.
correlating.
Even in
So
art,
it's the
students
art,
otherwise
there's
everyone
natural
can
science,
say
there's
it's
human
art.
science,
So someone has
Ah,
to
so
decide.
who's the custodian here?
Yeah.
mathematics.
Is it only
No, no, no.
calculated?
I'm saying title says it's block. So title 1 is art, then title 2 is mathematics, title 3 is human science, and then title 6 is natural science. In between, 4 and 5 are open.
Okay, so is that good enough?
Yeah, so
Sixth one. Again, the command term is that's the command term. Keywords, recent evidence, not just evidence, but recent evidence.
it's a strong.
Strongest
And
inevitability
inevitability is also.
It's like fresh ideas. It is almost
Ah,
sort of.
no ma'am, see now they specifically using the word evidence. Ideas may not be evidence,
Translated into evidence.
I think
but
because anything
this
which
is
is different
specifically evidence.
is considered as the development over the past theories of evidence.
Yeah, it's challenging the notion that newer evidence is gonna always be better or
Yeah.
more accurate than older evidence.
It is an assumption that new evidence is always the strongest. That is an
Yeah,
assumption.
always gonna be better.
It is an assumption. So inevitably,
No, if it doesn't challenge the old one, then it's not strong.
Then it will
If
Yeah.
it challenges, it will be there.
that is one of the
The recent
ideas.
one, if it challenges, might be a strong. Otherwise, not.
That is one of the ideas.
Otherwise, recent you might have to. There may be 100 recent ideas. You have to see is it challenging, is it going beyond? Is it being
No.
development in that?
Whatever the dominant narrative is that being challenged with like more robust evidence?
Even if it is supporting, not only challenging, still that is the
It
strongest.
also speaks about all this anchor bias, confirmation
support.
bias, where it's a human-like tendency to prioritize the recent evidence as the best.
Anchor bias.
So you have anchor bias or
More than
confirmation bias.
Anchor
bias is
bias.
no, anchor bias is
When you anchor on
when you
something.
anchor the first idea. Here it's not speaking about the first idea. So it's more like confirmation bias.
It's availability bias.
It is anchor bias is that the very first idea which is floated is the
Yes,
best.
availability bias is when you make decisions based on the most recent
So I
information.
like availability.
You recently read that there's a hijack.
This can also be connected with misinformation.
It has to be anchor bias.
Yeah.
This can
Confirmation bias or availability.
this can also be connected to misinformation.
You agree with that?
Recent evidence
So-
being strongest is also connected
What
to
is the
misinformation.
explanation to are we too quick?
Are we too quick is misinformation?
If we misinformation, when we are going against a different perspective, it's very easy to understand because we quickly accept it and that's why it was a wrong idea.
Yeah.
But when you are supporting the idea or the claim, then how are we looking
So you're
at
saying that what would make us discard established practices?
Basically, I think you look at validation of
What would cause us to discard or support to discard? Fine.
it is the
So
process of
Natural
validation.
science, it has to be independent verification, corroboration has to be done. Right? Here we do. Now there is oversimplification as well. Sometimes evidence is too simplified that it cannot be considered as strong evidence. For an evidence to be strong, there are certain characteristics. Instead of it has to be unbiased, it has to be corroborated, the evidence should be transparent.
Replicable also.
Sample size matters. Consistency also matters. When you replicate it, you must get the same outcome.
No, where
Methodology.
are we going in this?
I am looking at when people consider an evidence to be strong.
Oh, evidence can
No,
be.
that's not what it's saying.
No, they are looking at the strongest evidence.
Yeah, they are looking at the strongest evidence.
Yes.
They are not looking at the.
They are saying that
You might have many recent evidence, but that the strongest.
So no, the argument is
Yeah,
recent evidence.
we the strong.
No, they are
We are
assumption is-
considering the strongest.
We are
They are assuming.
the
They are assuming that the recent evidence is always the strongest.
Yeah.
But my argument is for even for recent evidence to be strong, there are certain criteria it has to
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
But Sriram, that is what the title is saying. Are we too quick? So you can say, no, we are not quick.
Because of the fact that recent evidence has to go through certain criteria for it to be considered as the strongest evidence.
That is what I'm
Recent
saying.
evidence is not
Basic-
justified properly because we are too quick.
Justified, what do you mean by that?
Basically, you're going to research into the methodology of validation of whether this evidence is strong or not
Yes.
strong. That's
Yes.
all. If you understand that, then you decide after that. I mean,
But
pick only those things.
Because
We are tearing hair now.
is based on the foundational like research of the previous one. Years ago.
So with regards to natural science, it is
How do you
not-
validate?
It is not
Evidence
too quick. With
is
regards
what you
to
do.
natural science, it is not too quick. I don't know what other area.
You can look at history also.
History, are we too quick?
Yeah, history can also be there. Because we can have new artifacts
sense can
and
also-
then
Yeah, you can have-
by placing a new emphasis on the new artifacts, we can sometimes misinterpret.
They can be new theory in mathematics.
Yeah.
But is it too quick? The question is, are we too quick? If you are not too quick, why are we not too quick? If you are too quick, why are we too quick?
Yeah, so go into whichever area you want. You look at the whole process of validation of evidences, and then when you validate an evidence, you realize whether it's wrong or not.
Sometimes we are
Implications of not accepting the evidence.
Sometimes we are very quick is also because who has produced that evidence. Let's say if it's a very strong authority,
Yeah.
we may not as we don't
Custodians, right?
just
Custodians
accept
are-
it. Custodians.
That's what I'm saying. No? What is the methodology in validating the evidence, the
Yeah.
strength of evidence? Because here it is not about finding evidence. They're saying evidence is there, but
They are assuming evidence.
so if you're saying no, if you're saying yes, you have to look at. Basically, you'll delve into the methodology process of validation.
For example, the government says we have eradicated the poverty by 50% this year. So we simply accept it, or too quickly we accept it because government has shown you a data how many people have come out of it. But if you're looking at the methodology, have they changed the base year?
So your methodology here is data.
Yeah.
And how much of data?
And
What is the
what
cross
methods?
section? What's the cross section you've taken? So the quantity of data. What kind of which?
Samples.
And are
Are you looking across the country or are you looking at only one? Yes, Akrima.
The evidence will become even more strong if WEF, I mean World Economic Forum, could
support
substantiate.
That's so again we're going back to the process of validation of evidences.
yes.
That's
So
what.
when COVID came, that time it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was, I think WHO only said that it is spreading through surface and stuff like that, and then we were sanitizing and going crazy. But later on, it was said.
It was proven otherwise.
Yeah, so something like that in the example that we were, because it was coming from WHO.
It is not. See, you are giving a single example.
Yes.
Basically, for us to tell the students, you have to tell them what are you going to research on.
Yeah.
Here, whether you quickly accept it or you don't accept it, and you go by the old principles or the foundational principles already there, will depend on what are your evidences. Evidences are already there.
Here is the expert giving the evidence, so we accept.
So that's
Even
so it goes back to what is the process of
Yeah.
validating. You please understand there are a lot of the titles which are going on the concepts. Certainty, validity, all of that, that's what's coming in over there.
Methods and tools. It's also using on methods.
So here it is a methodology of validation.
And we have to use natural sciences. So
Yes. So
Heliocentric, geocentric models.
So it all when we have to speak
Power,
about the
power.
bias, if we are very quick on an authority, we don't have the ability to look for biases or be skeptical about something.
And the word is assumed. We take it for granted. We take it for granted.
And I think very clearly we can counter these things that sometimes not too quick because, for example, flat earth society thing came in between, which is flat earth society.
Flat earth.
yeah.
There's a new theory came in, but people didn't accept it directly, or too quickly people didn't accept. I think by now it's almost rejected. So it's always not too quick that the recent evidence is strongest.
Okay, let's look at number two.
Number two.
Ashwini's
Number two is how can we, the question is,
what's stronger and
Actually, it has too many things and too confusing. I am sure that many of the students are not going to take it, but still we have to mark.
one thing that we all agreed was integrating interdisciplinary knowledge. That was the assertion I think Jeremy was making, right? Apart from that, can you please?
Last one.
Yeah, the number two.
second one.
What
But you know,
else?
integrating is how. But the
Yeah.
point is before
No,
that,
I
unpack
also
that
like
pattern.
Sridhar's idea of replication. Replicability can also be one of the methods.
Okay.
From specialization.
Moving from special to general.
That's how you can move, and that's how you can reconcile.
Ah.
My only thing is when you are explaining things, looking at the totality can also be one area towards how you are explaining things, and one is how you're finding out whether it's working in both ways. The method and explanation.
Generalization is a
Explanation
overarching,
Broad knowledge.
broad overview.
to the normal person.
And specialization is when you go in depth. So the research that a student will have to do is to investigate the balance between these two in this particular one.
How do we say?
If there has to be a balance, so you have to see whether
But the assumption is that we do reconcile.
How can we reconcile the opposing demands
Assumption is we are
for
reconciling.
specialization and generalization?
yeah, reconcile. How do you reconcile? Means you can either bring in a proper balance, or depending in what do you want to look at, whether the bigger, the broader overview is giving you the answer finally, or whether you have to delve deeper to.
Or maybe the ultimate objective of the knowledge.
That's why I'm saying. That's what I said. Yeah?
Our purpose here, do we need to explain the process or we need to explain the result? If you need to explain the result, then you have to have a consideration where you are not focusing too much on specialization, you are focusing on generalization. When it is the process, then you have to focus on specialization rather than generalization.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be clear.
No, what it means is how do we reconcile? So I think that when we have theories, we hold certain things. So theories are all generalized, and to come up with theories, we have assumptions. When we start, we hold certain things constant and whatever, we have assumptions, and that is how we make it generalized to come up with a theory. So that is generalization. And if we start removing those assumptions, and then we see the smaller thing that becomes specialized. So how do we reconcile? By having certain assumptions. I don't know.
No, this it's ulta there.
And theory's purpose is simply to explain certain concepts which cannot be explained with multiple options which are used. So what we do is just remove everything and we assume something, and based on that we explain.
So,
That becomes generalized.
no,
No.
it becomes contextual now. The moment you have lost more number of assumptions, the context becomes narrowed down now.
If we are including all assumptions, we are generalizing.
Yeah.
Assumptions are making it broader acceptance.
Exactly.
Okay, I think
No, how do you
one
define
thing
the
which
word
we need to
assumptions?
focus on
Only
opposing
certain
demand.
assumption is like an action.
It's an inference, it's an implication.
Even hypothesis in science is assumption, and that is
Yes.
generalization.
No, see,
Why not?
well,
Tell me any assumption
Let
to
me
give
give
an
an
example.
example. Let me give an example. Let's say I'm dropping a ball.
Huh?
Let's say I'm dropping a ball. I'm dropping a ball. So it is going to fall down. and
General assumption it
No,
will go
listen
down.
now. Listen now. Now, if I don't consider air resistance, I'm assuming air resistance. I'm assuming air resistance to be negligible, which means what? I am moving away from nature because in nature there is air resistance. So I'm not generalizing it. I'm specializing it to a domain where there is no air resistance. By assuming there is no air resistance,
Principal thing is
it
you are
becomes-
standing on the second floor and you are
Yes.
saying I'll throw this ball, it
Yes.
will fall on the ground. That is generalization.
No,
But
no.
then you did a research and you found out no, it will not fall because there are multiple scientific problems.
See, are you getting what I'm trying to say? The moment I am having a number of assumptions,
Yeah.
it is
See,
narrowing
now he
down.
starts thinking about
Specificity, yes.
why
I don't want other factors coming into play.
Specialized because he's considering the variables rather than taking them for granted.
And now he
It
will
will
now
happen.
he will look at all those falsifications to prove that.
Okay, legal is simply working on opposing demands for specific.
The tension between being an expert in specialized knowledge and just being having a So how do we solve this tension?
So this question speaks about tension.
So I think it is contextualizing everything because there is a certain demand for specialization, for explanation. Now you need to see the context, which one is more important, and towards that you are going to do the
We
explanation.
have to just focus on how can we do it. Method one, method two, method three.
Yeah, how do we reconcile? We understand that the nature is a
and
Yeah.
the specialization leads to
Yeah.
generalization is required for some specialized work or
We understand there is a requirement for specialization and how can we
yeah.
How do you solve the tension?
Yeah.
Choose exactly and how we reconcile that extension.
Yeah.
In some places it may not be it may not be possible to reconcile also.
there is no need for it.
Yeah, there is
So mathematics is already given. We have many fluidity given. Yeah.
It's even more risky. I think yeah, it is.
How do you solve the tension leads to specialization and generalization in
The
mathematics?
production of knowledge. So it's nothing to do with acquisition, it is to do
I
with
think it will
production.
more become relevant to statistics. That is one of the ways of doing.
Statistical analysis is done to arrive at a general knowledge, right? You try to generalize it.
When we say there is a correlation between something, that's a very generic thing. But how much correlation and how much causality is there that we have to find out with the particular method. Maybe you're doing regression analysis or algebra or whatever. That gives
That
you
would
more.
be-
I think much more statistics connects well with
So that is where we are coming back to integration.
yeah.
Or general idea with the specialization.
That was things
See, the word integration also means reconcile. No?
what?
The word integration also.
Integration of
It
methodology.
needs to come to some sort of an acceptance even when you don't agree.
That is why the assumption is that we will reconcile.
Even if you don't agree, but you have to come to a reconciliation.
So the statistic example you used, some person that is a non-mathematician can also look at the statistics and say, okay, this assumption is true. But he would not know how did that person arrive at that assumption unless he has the help of specialized mathematician, right?
No, I will not
I
go in that
suggest it's
direction.
opposite.
I won't go in that direction. Let me take the example of COVID. During COVID, we had prediction that the number of cases could reach this much. Yes or no? We had that prediction. How did they? That is a generalized knowledge. And how did they arrive at it? Using statistical methods. And for you to have statistical methods, you need localized data. That is specialization. So that is how I will think of statistics as a tool
For
used to
specialized.
move from specialization to generalization. You cannot collect the data across India or across the world to come to the generalization that the COVID cases will go high by so much in so many days.
See,
It
I'm
is
just-
impossible.
I'm just reading the
So you have to
example.
have some local data and you use statistical method to predict.
To predict.
So that is the way you go from specialization to generalization. And how can we reconcile using statistical methods? So statistical tools are one way of doing that with regards to numbers.
That's the
Can
example.
you please tell us what are the
Infographics,
effects?
we can also implement
Please,
that,
please just tell
right?
us
Visual
what are the
component is
effects.
as essential for generalization.
Okay, so the plan is where is the group now?
Yeah, we will.
I'll tell her.
I have it. So we
Okay.
form groups. So what we are doing is we have 4 groups where we are clubbing 2 classes each. So Ila and Jaya, me and Siddhant, Agrima and Ashwini, Nidhi and Luke. So we've tried to make different discipline teachers together. So what we are doing is in our you don't know if you have
No, you said there are different disciplines.
So that's
Economics and history.
Okay, yeah, history
And we will just in our next class, which is on Tuesday, and Ila is to give us for the next class, the Wednesday one. Mantra can also.
So I'll just tell what the plan which is tentative is that Tuesday we have a lesson.
Yeah.
We will make the students unpack 3 titles wherein you, so which means let's say Ms. Agrawal, Ms. Ashwini, put together approximately you will have
24
Mr.
students.
Ashwini, I'm sorry.
24 students.
24 to 26 students, so maybe 4 per group and give them 1 title. So which means you will have 6 groups, right?
And you will give one
One
title. Title number 1 to 2 groups.
Okay, means we are
6
There
groups.
are
unpacking
So
all the
6
things.
groups, 6 titles.
There are 3 titles. You started with 3 3 titles.
Meaning, during the first session, they unpack the first 3 titles. During the next lesson, they unpack the next 3 titles.
So,
But
you
it
have
is-
to use this
No,
class.
if there's 6
Yeah, but if you
groups,
hand them 6 altogether, that's
6 groups are working parallelly.
Come again.
If you're making 6 groups, you give 1 title per group.
Yes,
That
yes,
is
yes,
very
yes.
good.
Linear approach.
Linear approach, yeah, okay.
इसने गलती से बोल दिया.
Group 1, title 1.
No, he's implying he won't complete all 6 in one
But
class.
I'm still getting all 6.
Yeah.
How to
Yeah,
explain it?